Welcome to the Healthy Brain Podcast. Today I have my friend and fellow coach, Paige Kullman. Now, a little bit about her. She's an author, a life coach, and firm believer in the power of grace. She's written 3 books and she's on her way to her 4th book. The titles of the books that she has published: Practicing Enough, Staying True, and Writing Your Book, Practicing Courage, Devotion, and Grace. And the 4th book is called Ordinary Agency, on the way to complete her True Self trilogy. She still can't quite believe she gets to write and coach for a living. Her work centers on helping women see their thoughts clearly, meet themselves with compassion, and practice being enough right where they are. Paige describes her coaching as a safe space for people and women specifically who are willing and curious as they seek clarity, not perfection, in their current season. Whether through her writing or her coaching, she helps women come home to their true selves and carry that peace into the world around them. All right, Paige, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's lovely to be here. Thank you for asking me. Such a pleasure, such a privilege.
Yes, it's so fun to be able to chat on a nice sunny afternoon here in Michigan. How's the weather where you are?
We're sunny but adjusting to the new cold front, but we'll make it. We'll make it.
Yeah, yeah, the beauty of seasons. That's what I love about living further north.
There you go. Well, we were 60 degrees a couple days ago, and now we're not 60 degrees.
Yes. All right. Well, let's start off with tell me a bit about your journey into coaching and writing.
Um, well, I often tell people I'm an accidental life coach. Years ago, I did a certification for life coaching, but it was a much more specific program with answers as opposed to thought work. It wasn't quite a good fit, so I decided it wasn't the season for that. And then I discovered the same coaching program that you discovered, which is around thought work, and decided I'm just going to take it for fun. And while taking it for fun, it was so much fun that I said, I want to do this. And I started gathering clients along the way until I had a practice. So, yay. And then, as part of that journey, I took what was called the Master Coaching Certification, and we had to do a project. And the project that I picked was to write a book. Writing has always been something that I've enjoyed, always been something I've gravitated towards, and I probably have had write a book on my bucket list since kindergarten. So, but in the confines and container of this class, I was actually able to do it, and reminded of how much I love to write. And so now I get to write and coach. Yay.
Yes, and I started on one of your books, but I did finish the writing your book, and it was very thought-provoking, even for anyone who is in a looking at being more creative, whether it's writing something or sharing a project, developing a website, starting a business, just sharing their voice. And one of I want to go through a couple of really important highlights that I really pulled out from this book, and also feel free to weave in anything about your other books because I'm starting to read the Practicing Enough, and that I believe you said it's part of your trilogy. That's part 1, and then part 2 is Staying True.
Yes. Well, originally, when I started this project of this book, I had a vision that it would be to help my current clients. At that time, most of my current clients were familiar with thought work. Once I started writing the book, I also encountered clients who were not familiar with thought work, So I was like, I'm writing the wrong book. I need to go to the beginning. So the beginning of is practicing enough, and that is about learning to recognize your true self and let your true self be enough. The second part is staying true, and that's about staying in your true self as you go through your daily life. And here comes the cat. Oh my God. And then
Little
the,
meow.
the next one is ordinary agency, where we take all that is good about our true selves out into the world to change the world. So, and
Oh,
then writing your book was my buffering project when I had trouble with what I was writing in practicing enough. I opened up another document and said, I'm going to document what it feels like to stretch yourself in this creative energy project. And you're right. It while it does say writing your book, it could be creating your blog, it could be painting your picture, it could be just about any creative energy project. And the idea of starting by having courage, staying with it in the middle, and being able to put it out in the world. So,
mhm. And that when I was reading the book, writing your book, it really was this the highlights being how you're in this mode of self-discovery. And I never really looked at it that way, but when you were explaining it and the different steps. So the a couple of the questions I had for you is one, how do you really develop confidence as a writer, as a creative person, putting their work out in the world? And how do you find your voice? So it's like, I know there's two separate things, but sometimes they're actually the same, being confidence and finding
yeah,
your voice.
I think, well, and I think that's true. And what a great question, too. Um, the thing about confidence, I think, is I think we have this misconception that we're supposed to have the confidence in order to start. And for my journey, the confidence came after I started, after I developed a pattern. Um, it is what happens as you practice writing or practice whatever your creative endeavor is, whether it's journaling, could be writing, could be again creating artwork. The more you practice, the better you get, just like anything. Uh, and as you practice and learn, you then also create your voice and recognize it and understand what you bring to the page that is different from what someone else brings to the page. You and I could read and hear the same thing and sit down to write something. We would bring different voice to it. Your voice would be clearly yours, my voice would be clearly mine. And I think the secret to confidence for writing specifically is being willing to stay in your own voice and let that be enough.
Yeah, really, really thought provoking. And it is really a journey. It's a, that creative process. And you did bring up something interesting in the book. This quote, am I protecting my energy or avoiding discomfort? And how do you really know? And that is one thing that I find with my work as I'm working on things to put out in the world. I notice myself saying, "Oh, maybe I'm just too tired. I just need to take a rest because it's too uncomfortable." And
Right.
it's knowing, and when you put it in that statement in the book, I was like, "Oh, yes, it could be that I am gotten into the habit of avoiding discomfort. I think I'm protecting my energy, but I'm really just avoiding."
Yeah, well, and you're the brain health expert. So, but we know that our brain, when we feel discomfort, our brain is like, danger, 911. But for anything that's going to expand your capacity for anything, there's going to be discomfort. Just go for a walk after you haven't exercised for a couple weeks. There's discomfort there. That's not the same as the danger. And in many ways, we have to uh, work with our brain's natural tendency to keep us safe from danger and help it understand not the same thing.
Yes, and it's it's a little bit more each time in this creative process. It's like I'm
Yeah.
going to do a little bit, feel that discomfort. Do you have
Right.
any tips for overcoming that discomfort that's helped you, like some certain tangible actions?
Well, there's a little black lab that lives in my house. She, she's pretty good at it. Um, I honestly, it's just regulating. It's uncomfortable. And I often find myself saying, it's not a saber-toothed tiger. It's not a saber-toothed tiger. It's not a saber-toothed tiger, which may not be the wisest advice for your audience. But I think you really have to talk yourself through it.
Hmm.
Like, I'm okay. It's okay. This is unique. You're gonna put it out in the world. People are gonna see it. They're gonna have opinions. That's okay. You'll be okay. And once you've done it and gotten to the other side, you'll see that you're okay. But you really have to coach yourself to put it out there so that you can experience that okayness.
Yes. And that awareness, just being aware of, okay, it's nothing's gone wrong. There's going to be that discomfort. And then, like you said, you're talking yourself through it, which there's a lot of power when we verbalize things. We verbalize the negative emotion. It actually has less hold on us.
Right.
And then, as your work as a coach and using the mindset tools, those are so key in working through this discomfort.
Yes. And the other blessing that I had was as I was writing it, I was with a group of women that were also writing. So there were about 10 of us, and we were all uncomfortable. So it wasn't, I knew that I wasn't alone. I knew it wasn't because something was wrong or something was broken. It was because I was stretching myself, which is good for us, that we want to do that for longevity and for, as you know, for brain health, we want to stretch ourselves.
Yes, yes. And that social interaction, the community is so helpful for brain health, whatever we're doing. So it sounded like a great container that you were able to do this in.
Wonderful container. Would not have known that it could be so wonderful, but absolutely beautiful to watch other people go through the process and to be able to celebrate with them and be uncomfortable with them too.
Now I'm wondering too, this is a good follow-up. Well, I think it's a good follow-up question. I'll give my pat on the
It's
back.
always good.
Yeah,
It's
right?
always good when you do it, Heather. It's always good.
Yeah, thank you. Well, in the group though, because I know I have this tendency where I could easily compare, like, oh, this person's doing so much more than I'm not even halfway into it. And how do you manage and deal with comparison?
Um, I think for me, from my experience, I don't know what other people would say to this, because I had this container of really special people trying to get really special messages out into the world. Um, we worked really hard not to compare. And we had conversations around, oh, I really want to look at everybody else's paper. I really want to compare what I'm doing. But I think we all learned that while we were going to end up with a similar end product, our journeys were different, our resources were different, our energy was different, our time was different. For me, I enjoy the writing and the coaching so much that in those areas of my life, I'm just enjoying what I'm doing so much that looking at other people and what they are doing is a celebration and not a competition. I really like how that feels so much better than a competition. And as you know, in any community where you can engage in celebrating what everybody is bringing to it, that's just so much healthier. So I think for me personally, it's just I don't like how comparison makes me feel.
Mhm.
And so I don't want to do that. I don't do it perfectly. I do occasionally be like, "Ah," but
Yeah. Yeah.
but I can catch myself when I do that, and kind of I try to physically make myself pivot and go in the other direction of, wait a minute, you've got everything you've ever wanted and you love doing this.
Yes. And that's powerful that you're able to, and we all can, right? Choose
Right.
how we want to think about it. You're choosing to, I choose to celebrate. I choose to acknowledge and I know when we're on different coaching calls, you are like applauding people, you're giving them the high fives, you have the big smile. You are just you're celebrating with people. So you're a great example of that opposite of instead of comparison and judgment, go with that celebration.
Oh, well, thank you. That's kind of you to say.
Yes. Oh, of course, it's true. I see it. I see it definitely, and I love it. And that's really the key thing that I want our listeners to hear. And like you said, and I am the same way. It's a journey, so it's not 100% of the time, but we have the choice to choose how we want to think about something and how we want to feel about it. And once you realize that, and once you practice it, it's like your world opens up. It's so much more fun.
Yes, yes. Well, and knowing that you have the choice is so powerful, but making yourself accountable to that choice is where the shift happens and the life is changed.
Mhm.
So I was recently reading a book. I don't know if you're familiar with it, The Happiness Trap.
I don't believe I am aware of it.
It's it's very much about thought work, and it has a little bit of a different visual than what we learned in our coaching program, which is a cycle. He presents it as almost a V, like a V, and at the bottom is your choice point. And your choice either leads you away from your authentic self and the life you want or towards it. And for me, that's just these moments when we choose towards. When I wrote this book, I chose towards. And at the other side of it was like, that was fun. Let's do it again. You know, um, I would never have experienced that if I had allowed the choice to lean more towards fear and away from what I wanted. And I just think that taking responsibility for our choices is just it's powerful and it's healthy. You know, it's healthy to not have all the negative thoughts running around in our brain and having us move into moods and depressions and all those things.
Yeah, yeah, that's an interesting visual of that V.
Yeah.
Now, another amazing quote here. I believe I have it correct here. The most powerful writing doesn't perform, it connects. Do I have that correct? The most powerful writing doesn't perform, it connects.
Little weepy there when I hear you say it. Yeah. I think that that's true of any creative project that we take in, that when we bring an air of performance versus an air of connection, we lose our best talent as well as our most authentic voice.
Hmm. Yeah. And is it a connection? It's a connection with yourself, like it's an inward connection, but it's also that outward connection with people.
Oh yeah, definitely. What I find is when you put something out there from an authentic place, and I'm not just speaking about my writing, I'm speaking about when I did something in your class that you offered, or a blog post that someone else has done. You have that moment where it just resonates with you and you feel it in your heart, and you're so glad that someone said that and that you took the moment to read it or to hear it. Uh, and in that receiving of it, if there were imperfections in it, this is what I always want people to know. If there were any perfections in it, you probably didn't see them at all because you were so busy experiencing what the words were giving you. And that is always what I hope that I can bring to my coaching as well as the writing, is that connection, that feeling seen and feeling heard, and I'm not alone. Um,
Mhm.
Courage, hopefully, to go and do your own adventures and try your own things.
Yes, and to that point, then, what would be a piece of advice, like the first thing that you could think of if somebody is like, oh, I have always maybe wanted to write a book, or I've wanted to write a blog, open up a blog, a website, start a business, do something creative. What do you think would be the first step for them?
Well, I contemplated in my writing your book having the first chapter be two words, and the two words were just right. Because at some point you have to create in order to create. That sounds so silly to say it. It can't possibly be that simple, except that we all know it is. If I want to go and run a marathon, I don't run a marathon by putting my shoes on, opening the front door, and going and running without some consequences. I run a little bit one day, I'll run a little bit the next day, I run a little bit more the next day, and I create a rhythm of running every day. The thing that I did right for me is to create that rhythm of writing every day for an hour in the morning before my day starts, before the world can give me all the things it wants me to do. I tend my creative energy by writing for an hour and not worrying about whether or not it's good or useful. That's not the issue. The issue is training. I think it's training my brain that this is what we do right now. This is where you can bring all the creative energy and all the creative thoughts, and we will do something with it. I
Mhm.
don't know what. And it may get edited and it may end up in another book, but we have to create if we want to create. And so, in some ways, it may even be as simple as creating a habit where you sit in front of the computer for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever your schedule allows, or some sort of checklist. People respond differently to different things. Once I started it, now it's a little bit like being hungry. I need to go write because I'm hungry to write.
That in itself has its own momentum because you have created that neural pathway in your brain of like, this is just what I do in the morning. I finish
Yeah,
this, then I
yeah,
step into my writing.
yeah. And it sounds like it couldn't be that easy. And so if that is what someone is thinking who is listening, I would just challenge you. Try it for 30 days. And when I say try it for 30 days, I don't mean try to carve an hour out, because you probably won't be able to do whatever the creative thing that you want to do for an hour, even 15 minutes predictably at the same time of day. Again, it's that neural pathway that you're talking about. We have to retrain it. This is what we do in the same way that when it gets dark, we go to bed. When the sun comes up, we get up. There are just
Mhm.
there are things we understand about how life works, and we live in a world that is so distracted that unless we create that rhythm, I don't think we will ever do the creative things that we want to do. So I think you have to be intentional. It's the
Mhm.
long-winded answer. Sorry about that.
No, it's great because yeah, you actually helped me in that a sticky point for me. I mean, I get up, I work out, I actually have a whole morning routine where I have my meditation, my affirmations, my visualization, my journaling, working out, planning the day. And then I get to my work. But work meaning seeing clients, seeing
Right.
patients. And the one thing that I've been wanting to do is write more just for my posts, for my
Huh.
emails. And I wait till it's the end of the day when
Right.
cognitively I have brain fatigue, because
Yeah.
decision fatigue. See, that's what happens by the end of the day. I've been making all these choices and decisions. That's the last thing I want to do. And I'm not harnessing the power in the morning. Sometimes I do. And that's why I know when you said it, I'm like, that's what I need to do is just 15 minutes, 20 minutes, just da da la la la, get on the computer or journal or like write it out on a piece of paper and do that creative in the morning after my
Well,
morning routine.
and you said it well, and I know your morning routine because I have that class. It is a good one, but it is though I extended my morning routine to include
Mhm.
not just journaling, because this is different from journaling. It's creation, and to give our best energy to creation is energizing. You will be shocked how much you can do in that time. You will be shocked at the quality during that time. And again, you'll be shocked at your neural pathway being like, I'm hungry to go right. What is this? Or I have one day a week now where I cannot, because of when I have to leave the house, I actually can't do this. And I'm like, oh gosh, kind of grumpy about it, which is hysterical. It's like, okay, you'll be all right. This is not forever.
Right. Yes. And yeah, that is awesome. That suggestion. And I'm definitely going to do that tomorrow on the Friday. Now what about some other practices, specifically habits and practices that help you to manage your brain and your brain health that you have been doing, either starting to do or you're pretty consistent in doing?
Um, well, you're the expert, so you're going to be able to balance whether that's really brain health or I'm making it up that it's brain health. It just feels like brain health to me. The big thing for me is sleep.
Hmm.
A certain container of sleep. I've always been like that. I'm a early to bed, early to rise, and if you change that dynamic, my brain gets really foggy. So, so that's a big thing for me. Because of the writing, the more I write, the more I want to write. I am very careful about screens, and I'm careful about how much time I spend in front of a screen. I have a little timer that I use, and it runs for about 40 minutes, and then I make myself get up and actually physically go outside and just be outside for a second. Hydration, I think, is a big one.
Hmm.
I think getting outside and walking, getting exercise. I Because I'm home, working from home, doing the writing and doing the coaching, there can be a lot of one-on-one instead of larger community. So looking for times when I can do larger community things. Um, Good books. Good books are my love language to give my brain something better to think about. Being careful about when I start good books because don't want to stay up all night reading and you know blow that sleep timeline. Lately, one of the things that's been really good for me is some sort of craft type project without any input at all. So, some knitting or some cross stitch or needlepoint, and just quiet time without all the input going on.
That sounds like you're a poster child for brain health.
Well, I took the class, I learned from the best.
Yes. And they're things that and it's all so important. You're being very intentional with, and you're also using your brain in different ways, like that creativeness, the out in nature, the visual changing what you're doing, social interaction, doing the needlepoint, the knitting, and what you said was really important without additional input. Because what happens with a lot of what many of us in our current society, we're in this multitasking. So even if we're not doing two active things at one time, we're listening to something while we're writing, or while we're cooking, we're
Right.
listening to something. And it's the brain again, it all comes down to brain energy and how your brain can't necessarily reset if we have too many inputs coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, so that's awesome. I love it. Keep up the great work,
Something
Paige.
great. I had a good teacher. I got all my notes from the class right here.
Oh, awesome. Now, what is the best way for people to connect with you?
Well, I have my website, which is paigekullman.com, and my name is spelled differently. So PAIGEKULLMAN.com. I would love to have anybody come and join my newsletter. I am on Pinterest. That's about the only, it's debatable as to whether that's social media platform, but some people call it social media and some people don't. Um, that is social media is distracting for me, so I that is my brain health moment. So I don't do it as well as you do. You have your Instagram that you do so well. So mostly it's my website. My email is on my website, so if anybody would like to message me, ask any questions, and thank you so much for letting me be here to talk about this. It's so lovely.
Yes, of course. And on your website, people can sign up for your weekly newsletter, which is just a joy to get every week. I think it's Tuesday Thoughts. Is that what you call it?
Thanks. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, and then you always have sometimes there's a funny story, sometimes there's just this connection. The one that I'm thinking of is with the lemonade stand. It was in the summertime and the lemonade stand. So it's great. Sign up for Paige's weekly newsletter to get the latest on what she's writing, tips and tools and treasures, and get access to her tools and treasures library. Or you can sign up for coaching with her. And
Yeah.
I will also put in the show notes
You
the
can
link to buy the books. There you go. There's a beautiful, beautiful books there.
on Amazon.
Good old Amazon. You can get
I
it in a
know.
day.
Isn't it amazing? We can write a book and we
Yes.
can publish it and have it printed. It's just amazing the world that we live in.
Yeah, yeah, that is, I mean, that's a huge step. And you're already on to your fourth. The one thing is you can get the books if you wanted a digital, they come in Kindle too, right? In the
They do
Kindle.
come in Kindle, and if you have, what do they call it? Kindle Unlimited, where you can get some of the books for free. The first book, Practicing Enough, is free on Kindle Unlimited now. I don't know how it works, so I don't know, if it's not there tomorrow, it's not, I didn't do it.
Yes.
I don't know how Amazon works that. I am learning that process right now. So
That, yes, and that I know it's up at whoever decides, but those are some great start with. Which book do you suggest that people start with?
well, I feel like practicing enough is for if you're beginning thought work journey. Like you're not quite sure what it is. What do people mean when they say true self? This just sounds kind of foreign to me. I would say start with that. If you've had some thought work, maybe you are a coach, maybe you're coaching, the staying true, I think, gives you some tools to use in real life. And if you are working on your creative energy or have a creative project that you want to do, then I would say writing your book is where you start. And always blog posts too. I mean, that I always think blog posts are the easiest entryway because you can, read several and get some idea of the tone. So,
Yeah, good, good, excellent. Well, thanks again, Paige, and I'll see you soon.
all right. Thank you, Heather. Such a
All right.
pleasure. Appreciate you asking.
Take care. Bye.
Bye bye.